Okay, the reason why I decided to talk about this book is a few years ago, it was just before the pandemic, I read this book and I was really, I learned a lot, and I thought that if someone knows me, I'm someone who likes to read the book more than one time. Why? Because it's not about just reading a book, it's how much value can I get from the book. So when I read the second time, I learned things which I did not learn from the first time. It's not that the book have changed, it's me who have changed. Because I became more, I would say, conscious awareness, my level of awareness has increased. So when you read a book, I would recommend, if you love a book, any of your best book, read it after a couple of years again, so that you will see different things, you will learn different things that was not there when you first learned, because of your level of awareness has shifted. So let me ask you before I start, how many of you believe that we are programmed in our mind? Okay, good. So what I would like to explain to you in this book, what the author is saying is that, let's assume like a child. A child, they are born, they are happy, they are free, they do everything they love to do. And then throughout their I would say their growth, they're like sponges, they just observe and get whatever they are surrounded with. They get teaching from the parents, from the school, from the society, culture, I would say religion, and that forms the baby. And the baby, what they become a mix, a combination of everything. And when the baby grew, they start talking, they become a combination of mom, of dad, society, and everything. And that's what formed the baby's, I would say, identity. But then, the question is, what was those teachings? Where did these teachings come from? The parents, from the parents. The parents took it from the grandparents, and then the grandparents, and then it comes long away the tree. Okay, but what is the originated kind of teaching comes? Okay, they come from years and years ago. And some of these teaching of these people, they already died for these rules, and they are not even in this world anymore. But we do carry these beliefs, and we do carry this teaching with us. And let's take a child, when they grow, they start growing, you can see everyone is saying, whenever you do something, this is good, this is bad, this is good, good girl, good boy. So this is how they are shaping their own personality. And then when they grow a little bit, they start talking, then they rebel. When they do something, you tell them, say, no, I don't want. Why? Because they have their own identity, which they want to express, but they are being, I would say, that's squeezed, and they are forced to just do whatever the environment or society is telling them to do. So the child become a little bit, I would say, compressed, and they cannot express. And then if it's a boy and they're becoming a teenager, we know who have teenagers, they rebel even more. They just don't listen, they do whatever they want to do, because they have their own identity and personality that they want to express, but because of they have been blocked in the environment, they cannot express themselves. And then what happens? We have been rewarded and punished. When you do something good, you've been rewarded. When you do something bad, you've been punished. And throughout their growth, the child now is confused. Okay, either they are afraid to be punished, and they want to be rewarded. So what happened to the child when they grow, they become teenager? Either they rebel and they are punished, or the combination of the both. So what happened is, the teenager or the child, when they grow, they start thinking, or say, okay, now if I do something that I want to do, mom will be not happy, or dad will be not happy. So they try to fit in, try to please. When I'm with this society, I'll be this kind of person. When I go with my friend, they do these things, I have to do with them, because if I don't do with them, I will not fit in, they will laugh at me. So the kids start having mix of identity. They don't know what they want to become. So what the author called this, he said, we become domesticated. This is the word that he used. We become domesticated because we take whatever is been given us to try to fit in. And that's what is forming our identity. So if we don't want to be punished, then we have to please the others. And if we please the others, then we have to also wear a mask. This is not me, I'm not like that, but I have to be to become that kind of a person, to be liked. So we try to seek, I would say, love. We try to seek acknowledgement from others so that we can become those kind of acceptance to the society and be accepted by the environment. So now the child is growing, is becoming adult. Now there is no more mom and dad and society and teacher. Now their own self. So what has happened to the human being? What is happening is you don't need a mom and dad anymore because those environment, those teaching have already created your limiting belief. And you don't need someone to tell you wrong or right. Yourself, you are thinking now, okay, before you do something, you are thinking, is it good, is it bad? So we ourselves, as grown-up, we have already created those limiting beliefs that we have formed throughout our life, I would say. And what the author says is, we have done so many agreements that don't even, it's not like a real agreement, but we have believed those agreements and really took them for ourselves because to create that identity that we want to be, which is not really even the reality. This is 95% of our belief, what we think is believe and what we do is not the real, I would say, belief system. But because of the conditioning and the environment, it has formed our identity. So now what the author was saying that it's not difficult, it's very difficult for a person to really come across with those beliefs because you need to be aware for you to change those beliefs. And we have people who really act as victims. And they play victim their entire life, blaming their parents, being victimized, blaming the society, the community, the government. You see someone who's blaming everything about himself. Somehow because he believes that he's the victim and whatever is happening around him is wrong to him. But apparently whatever has happened is inside our own mind. And all these agreements, which is like a book, rule of book, we need to understand them and we must break those agreements for us to have that control of our life, for us to be able to live a freedom lifestyle that we want to live. So now I will be explaining the 4 agreements. Simon, am I good? You did not mention. Okay. So the first agreement, okay, is red light, is be impeccable with your word. Okay? Be impeccable with your word. Words are really, really powerful. We've heard that so many times. Word can either make or break a person. Yeah? So if really you want to break free, you need to understand and how to use these words, not to the other person, to yourself. The main person that is really important, addressed in this book, is not how to deal with somebody else. No, it's how to deal with your own thoughts, and your own minds, and your own emotions. I'll come back with this after we go back with our speeches. So now we go back to our plan for today. I do have a lot of